Reliving the Extreme.
My name is Bubba Ray Dudley.
I don't need a weapon. My hands are my weapons.
This week on Reliving the Extreme, we are reviewing the episode of ECW from August the 2nd, 1994. Chad said his said August the 1st. I thought it was the 2nd. It doesn't fucking matter. Nate Maxson, your host, here with you, along with my brother Aaron.
Hello, everybody.
And, of course, ECW's own Mr. Chad Austin.
What's that?
And there's not a lot of... This was another one of those episodes of ECW.
I know. I disagree. I thought there was good content on the show.
Okay. Well, we will get into that. But before we get started, Chad asked before we started recording if there was he said he had a story for us and asked if he had told it yet. And he has not. So if you want to embark us with your story, I'm intrigued.
Well, people think I went crazy. Like legitimately lost my mind. I'm at one of my facilities, that I go to daily.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not I belong there or I go to work there, that's not the point. It's the fact that I'm there. Well, I forget where I parked my car, in which lot that I parked my car, and some people that work there. This is the audacity of these people. They said they watched me for 15 minutes on the camera walk around the parking lot, they said aimlessly. And I said, isn't that something that Vince McMahon said in the 80s? On TV wrestling? He's flailing his arms aimlessly. Yeah.
It's pandemonium.
and these people that were at I'm telling you, I'm at a huge facility. There's got to be I don't know about thousands. It's not like it's fucking Russia or anything, but there's got to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that are living in this place. And these people are talking about keeping me there because they called my boss, and they told my boss that they thought that I had a stroke. And the whole thing was over the fact that I just didn't remember where I parked my car, which lot it was in. There's 4 lots.
Should have been I'm Chad Austin. Did you watch my ECW career? I ain't got no stroke.
Oh, there was no chance I was getting into that, because the next step was, it all happened. The police got involved. The ambulance people got involved. Once I got in my car, and I said, "All right, well, am I free to leave?" And they said, "Yeah." And then as I backed up, I saw everybody was in their car watching me as I drove away, going, "I wonder if he really is all right." and I'm thinking, dude, I just forgot what parking lot I fucking parked in. Don't you guys have a big mall where you live?
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I'm thankful that they put the big fucking letter up there or whatever. Yeah, remember we're in D14. D14.
Well, I didn't see a D14. All I did was park the fucking car and walk into the place. And I didn't realize that they had 4 different entrances or exits. So I just walk out one and go, I don't see my car. And the next thing I know, I have a stroke. I couldn't convince these people. They called my boss. They called my wife. They called everybody. And I'm just thinking, what are you guys talking about? And I got back and my boss grabbed me. she's a younger chick. She wouldn't even know what to do if I even had a fucking stroke. But she kind of grabbed me and was like, "Are you all right?" I go, "Yeah, I forgot where I parked my car."
Yeah, I'm not blind in my left eye now. I just forgot where I parked.
Yeah, that's all I did. Like, I forgot where I parked my fucking car. I don't understand.
Both sides of my face. You should be like, both sides of my face are in the same place you were at when I left.
Yeah.
I never smelt burning hair.
Yeah. I mean, I did not start that fire. That was not me. I just drove by it. But you know what I mean? Like that's a hard thing to sell to your employment that you're not crazy. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? I just forgot where I parked my car.
And then there's these nosy bastards in the surveillance room or whatever, like you said, watching you for 15 minutes in the parking lot. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, they're just checking me out. And by the way, it was women. So I could be thinking, how many of them were really checking me out? I mean, considering probably 2 of them were dating, and there was 3 of them. So I probably only had a shot with the one of them. That's the way the mathematics looked on that. Yeah, there's no chance that them first 2 weren't dating. Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this. And for me to have to call but see, you know, I'm 50, and my boss has got to be in her, I don't know, I would say maybe early to mid 30s, and for her to get a fucking phone call from some company saying that they think that one of your drivers had a stroke, you know, like at our facility, like that's the word they would use too. Would be like, man, one of your drivers fell out, like we would say, like, oh man, this motherfucker no. They had to call the facility and be professional and say, one of your drivers, I believe it's 5949, he kind of fell out. Fuck no.
That's insane.
Dude, it's the best when the whole entire world is worried about you. But
like you said, the cops are there, the ambulance is there, it's a big scene.
I lost my car.
They got you sitting on the curb.
There's a big scene. All of a sudden, the helicopter's swimming by, and you go on your phone and you click on like Twitter, and there's an action live from the local news TV. Like some crazy guy.
Yeah, local man strokes out aimlessly at facility.
Yeah, causing chaos. Oi, I want my car. I'm caught
out in the lot.
Jesus Christ! Like literally, I don't give a shit. You have to have a helicopter here. This is a big place. You know, you're a big time $100 billion zillion business. You know, you gotta have a helicopter. Go ahead and take a look over the place. Find the black fucking Honda Element.
Help me out here. Your tax dollars at work.
Tell me what parking lot it's in. That's all I need. And then I'll walk around this goddamn fucking place, you know, all night long until I find the car. But Jesus Christ, you guys are doing nothing for me. Like, I can't find a front door, a back door, an outdoor, an indoor. I'm just walking around. Like, how big is this fucking place?
You're like, why do you keep trying to put a blanket on me? Stop that.
Yes. Oh, dude, I had several people ask me where my badge was. Or not my badge, my name tag or whatever the fuck that they had to wear. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm a vendor. And they go, oh, well, didn't you just come from P4? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly what it was. It was exactly what it was. Because that lady wasn't even a lady. She was a girl. She was like 24 years old. And she said, okay, well, if you don't mind, I'm going to escort you downstairs. And I said, well, the elevator is right here. And then I'm on the you only have 2 floors. There's not a whole lot of places I can go. And she goes, no, I'll help you. I go, well, I can get an elevator and I can press the button that looks like the down button. And she goes, no, I'm going to help you. And I'm thinking, the whole fucking world thinks I'm fucking stupid. Jesus Christ. I can't get a break. I don't know what these last 2 weeks have been the most ridiculous 2 weeks of my entire life. I have never had so much stuff happen to me that's happened to me this week that make me think, make me question my sanity. Like, I'm literally going, what the fuck, man? Like, what did I do? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to any of you guys?
Yes, actually, yes. That stuff like that always comes in like a 2-week span. Like, this is all this crazy shit happens, and it's all in like a 2-week span at all times. And then it's smooth sailing for like 6 months.
Oh, I hope so. Because this is brutal. I mean, I have to drive to like. I go to. I mean, I don't live really that close to DC, and I definitely don't live that close to Virginia. But once you get to DC, Virginia is your next stop, right?
Right.
And that's what I've been doing the last couple of days. And dude, that road to take you there is a doozy, because you can look on the way when you're going down into Virginia. You can look on the other side of the highway on the way back and see the parking lot. So once you get down there and you do your last delivery and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm done. Then you go, oh no. And then you get home 495 and all you do is just sit, man.
Sit and wait.
Dude, it's brutal, man. It's brutal. And, you know, I get paid by the miles, which, I mean, not entirely by the miles, but I don't get paid by the minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So me sitting there for 4 hours just going, come on. Like, that's all I'm saying. Because there's nobody in the car with me. So I'm just yelling, come on. Can somebody why can't we figure this out?
And I guess at least 8 hours a week you have Jim Cornette to keep you company, right?
Dude, I mean, I listen to us too, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of Reliving the Extreme. I'm also a big fan of oh my god, what's it? The John McAdams.
No, Stick to Wrestling, yeah.
Stick to Wrestling. I listen to Stick to, yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that totally keeps me available, like, for the week, for me to work this amount of hours.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that I can go, oh, it's 2 hours. Oh, this is 4 hours.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the podcast age too, is you don't have to rely on the radio. You know, you can pick and choose what you want to listen to, as opposed to the same 25 songs or whatever. And then and right in the middle of it is Busted Open, that comes on live between 9 and 12. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I go in super early, so I listen to something, you know, whatever, and then 9 comes on, it's Busted Open, 9 to 12.
Well, August 2nd, 1994 is our show we're reviewing.
So what about what happened on Friday morning? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just asking you. Anything to get over this review of this show? No, I'm just asking you a question.
The only thing that happened with me Friday morning is I went to work.
Yeah, I was just asking a question. Anything to fucking
to use up some time here.
Yeah, get the show started.
We start the show with Mr. Hughes cutting a promo, and this went on a long time, like
13 and a half minutes.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it was a long deal.
I paused it when he was done because I was like, how long did this last?
What'd you say it was, Aaron?
13 and a half minutes.
No way.
Yes.
It was longer than your story. You had a traumatizing experience that you had to tell a story about, and Mr. Hughes cut a longer damn promo, or had a longer segment.
He read his goddamn Wikipedia.
Well, doesn't he always?
Yes, essentially he talks. He goes all the way back to
everybody on it. Johnny Gunn, fucking Sal Balomo, he's doing his entire fucking run. Hawk, he's going over everything.
Yeah, they showed the footage from the show where we entitled Sal's Boots, where Sal had his big funny boots on. Now, what I will say about this, and like Aaron said, they're just running down essentially all of his past feuds and stuff in ECW and showing footage. Of course, he mentions Lex Luger, Lawrence Taylor, and The Undertaker.
Oh, he does that 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Aaron's got the stamp. Man, fuck this. I'm going to tell you, motherfuckers, how fast the big cat mentions The Undertaker and Lawrence Taylor.
You guys tell me if I'm the odd man out here on this. Although it went on forever, and they showed they showed us a bunch of stuff that we'd already seen. I thought there were parts of the segment where he was a good promo.
Well, he's not a bad promo. It's just that they're giving you a lot of it.
There you go. Yeah, less is more. Less is more.
Yes. I mean, it's okay for him to say he's a bad mofo and The Undertaker and 911 and blah, 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 blah. But they just kept going back to him. Like, what else you got to say? And he's like, what else do you want me to say?
When I took out Johnny Gunn.
Yeah. I mean, remember back in my AWA days?
When I was teaming with the Motor City Madman.
That's right. Them Gagnus, they didn't pay for nothing. Yeah. Oh, okay. Never mind. Just go.
Harley Race.
He says 911's mom is a dog because she gave birth to one ugly son of a bitch. Like, it's a good line. He could have just ended it there. But no, he kept going.
No, they could have ended it with him not saying a word. That's how I would have ended it. Why would you talk? Just don't. I don't know. I don't know. To tell you the truth, I don't know what kind of stress Paul was under at this time. Oh, that sounds bad. I don't know what he was really going through or whatever, but for him to just okay that and I'm like, dude, he's not coming back. You booked him for, I don't know how many weeks, was it 3 months? It was 3 months, right? Mm-hmm. He had a 3-month run. He had the deal where he did with Shane, right?
Yeah, as the bodyguard.
I mean, Nate, you go ahead. You got to fill me in because I have a little bit of gaps. But yeah, he had the deal where he did with Shane, and then he did some other things.
Yeah, he was Jason's enforcer, then he's Shane's enforcer, and then I think after the program with 911, he's gone. But the I don't know. It's like you said, Chad. Like essentially, it's like Matt Radico's like, oh, we got this 13-minute thing we put together on Mr. Hughes, and Paulie's like, put it on. Jesus Christ, he said yes.
He's choke slamming Mikey, Chad, and Joel just repeatedly. How's that going to get anybody over? Didn't they always say you have to beat somebody to be somebody?
Yeah.
Me, Mikey, Joel, and me. Okay. You tell me where that's putting 911 at. Well, he falls right in line for a shot at Paul Varlin's. That means that Mikey, Joel, and me could probably fight for the UFC if we wanted to. Yeah, I have credibility.
It's a badass streak, 911.
Jesus Christ.
Hughes brings an angel to end the promo.
He says the weirdest thing ever at the end of this. He brings in Angel and he said he's mad about them beating up Angel, and beating up the Angel was a big mistake. And then he goes, and I don't play with no kids.
Is that a shot at Sal Balomo?
I was just saying, usually if a guy tells you that, he probably does. It's like, what are you doing?
Who is this?
Mr. Hughes. That's how he ends this promo. He said
you don't play with no kids?
He said, I don't play with no kids.
Wow, I don't think I have a joke for that. I'm gonna have to workshop that one as we speak.
Like I said, usually somebody tells you that. If they have to tell you that, they probably do.
Yeah.
He's somebody's creepy Uncle Curtis. He's the Uncle Curtis there. Don't go in the basement with a creepy Uncle Curtis.
See, Miss Jess. Oh my God, Miss Jess likes them CSI shows, and as we speak, they're probably working on one of these shows right now. Where
Undertaker, Special Victims Unit.
that guy from summer school, whatever it is, Mark
Marvin.
Yeah, he's investigating a bunch of wrestlers
alongside Ice-T. Yeah,
dude, that's why isn't that a show? But yet, Young Rock is the fuck. Young Rock, nobody gives a shit about that nonsense.
Never watched an episode. Probably never will.
No, it's not. It's not bad if you watch it not for wrestling reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The Curtis Hughes origin story was a little big cat.
That's right. That's
little
right.
big cat.
I mean, I guess you can get the fuck. I guess you can tie some of it in to where Young Rock says that he tells his father that he wants to get into the business. I want to get into the business of being the big cat.
Little big cat, since they fabricate everything anyway. Little big cat's hanging out in the dressing room with Ernie Ladd, played by Morgan Freeman, of course.
Are we about done? Because I'm telling you, there's no chance this show.
James Earl Jones is playing Big Cat, Ernie Ladd.
There's no chance this show can air as the way we're recording it. I'm completely laughing too much.
And then an update from last week's show. Turns out it wasn't Ernie Ladd or Curtis Hughes. Ernest Miller was the father.
Of who? Of what?
Of those little kittens. It was Ernest Miller.
What the fuck? Ernest Miller, the big cat?
Somebody call his mama.
Somebody better, yeah. Because he ain't got no money to pay for them fucking kittens.
The next thing on this show here that we get is the Bad Breed on their way to the ring, and then they cut into that with a special bulletin from Joey Styles as he announces that Cactus Jack will be wrestling Terry Funk at Hardcore Heaven on August 13th at the ECW Arena. And then after we return from that, the Bad Breed beats Joel Hartgood, and I didn't even ever see who his partner was. So.
Dude, you ain't shit.
I didn't either. Like, I literally wrote Bad Breed versus Joel Hartgood. I don't know.
Dude, I think that's brutal. Yeah, I noticed that as well. I think it was one of the Shearers.
One of them. Not sure which one.
Well, there's only one of them. There really is only one of them. But Paul booked him in so many matches that when he realized that it was the same guy, he told him that they invented a twin brother.
That's more creative than Mr. X, I guess.
It was Keith and Kyle Shearer. That's why they could both be on TV wearing the same outfit. The
same mole in the same spot.
Everything, all of it. Yeah, it was like, wait a minute. I forget. I want to say it was Jason that called Paul out because a lot of times if we had like a show like a random, it wasn't often. It wasn't that often that we had a show somewhere like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday when the show would air. But we'd be there, we'd watch the show or whatever. And everybody would shit on it. No matter how good the show was, everybody would just beat it up. Oh, this is the shit. Oh, this is awful. Oh, geez, Liz. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what we would all do then. Jason, is that what we're talking about, Jason?
We're talking about Shearer and his dual identity.
Oh, yeah. Well, Shearer, that was just pure by accident. But my question is, do you think he got paid twice?
That's highly doubtful. I'm surprised. I'd be surprised if he got paid once.
I was going to say Paul would be like, Keith, we got you doing this double gimmick with your brother, but don't worry. There's no way that you're going to make more than Kyle or Kyle's going to make more than you. We're going to pay exactly the
Yeah, you guys are good. I'm telling you, that's what Paul would. That's exactly what Paul would have. That's exactly what Paul would have said. Don't worry, you guys are good.
Normally, I would have to cut your money in half because there's two of you, but you're so good, I'm going to keep paying you the same exact amount.
Like, yeah, like he gets one of them in the room. He's asking for his money, his check, and Paul cuts his check for $100. I mean, let's be honest. I'm going to be fair. That's not bad for a guy that's a job guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Especially for a job guy of that. I would say of that caliber.
Yeah,
because he
did beat Jake the Snake Roberts in the Manhattan Center.
Yeah, he was a halfway decent job guy. So, I would say, okay, whatever, dude. I was the only one that was never fearful of my checks ever bouncing. Never. I used to get. I mean, back in the day, remember Web TV?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I was working there when Web TV was around, and I would get messages all the time about not cashing the checks. And I'd be like, why? Because there's no money. There's no HHG group. And I go to the bank every time I get a check, and my check has never bounced. Number one. And granted, I mean, do you guys know anything about the wrestling business? Like how you pay people, that kind of stuff?
I have to kind of plead ignorance on it.
Okay, well, you kind of you have to budget your shit, your shit out, and you always got to pay your carpenters,
Right? Yeah, the guys that are gonna be there working week in and week out.
So you always kind of take care of them, right?
Right.
And then you you give them, I guess you say, comparable money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the time, I thought $150 a night was good money.
Well, if you're one of the guys that's there week in and week out, and you see the crowds, and you see, you can kind of estimate what business is, then you can know whether you're getting fucked on a payout, right?
Well, yeah, you're right about that, but I never even thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
I never even took that in consideration. I took it as, this is what I'm getting paid, and this is fucking it.
Take it or leave it, right?
Yeah, I can. And that's kind of why I stopped going. like I really never quit. I just stopped going. Like I ain't got time for this, dude. You guys are killing me. I mean, you're legitimately killing me. And you give me checks that you're telling me don't cash till Tuesday? Can't be having it. I can't be having that.
Like, what are you, fucking Wimpy from the fucking Popeye?
Let
me pay you Tuesday for a match today.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what it was. I'm like I'm the lowest paid guy on the show. Like, you would think my checks would never bounce. Like, you expect a phone call from Shane Douglas, Terry Funk, Sabu, like they had a problem with their check, but. $150? No, fuck no. My check was never going to
How much do you think, just curious, just talking about pay here, how much do you think Paulie and Todd would be paying Terry Funk for, say, to do a TV taping and the big ECW arena show that month?
Oh, I'd say, you said Terry Funk and who else?
Just Terry, just someone of his caliber, like to do a TV taping and then...
Probably $2,000.
Okay.
And then he's gotta bring him in, and then Todd has a deal with the Marriott at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a discount. Not, but that's still an expense. And then you got to bring in his wife.
You got to get special assistance for
Yeah.
Oh, Dory's a different story.
Special accommodations.
They have to get a different plane for Dory.
He's got to get the room with the toilet with the handle thing beside it, or the.
Gotta be a ramp.
No. They have to call NASA and get a special plane that they can put Dory on, to where the cabin pressure won't change because we're all afraid of anything happening going on in his head. But yeah, you know,
they got to get one of them vans with the lift.
Yes. Well, that's like no, like see, Aaron, you're wrong here. There's different ways of thinking about this. There's the way you're thinking, like you're being lazy or you're pretending to have a handicap. But it's like a star treatment. Like if I had the money, I have a Honda Element. I would get a lift in my Honda Element just so I can get out of my car. Just so I could like when I roll up to my retirement homes, I can look like a star. Getting out of here.
After 19,
Dory demands only vanilla Ovaltine in his room.
After 1990, after 1988, every match involving Dory Funk was a handicap match.
Because of him?
Yeah, because he's elderly and handicapped.
So why didn't somebody like run out and like put like a handicap like placard, like somewhere like on a pole that's there? Like this is our handicap match. I can just imagine Tony Schiavone screaming that out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our handicap match.
It's gonna be the greatest night in the history of professional wrestling.
He's pretty senile, and he still thinks that he's getting like preferential parking because he's the NWA champ. Everybody in your convention is allowed to park there, Dory.
Well, I can tell you this, Aaron, you're not getting invited to anything at Marty's house. You are not getting invited to anything at the Double Cross Ranch.
Well, up next on this show, they run down the so far lineup for hardcore.
I can't go to Dory Funk's party.
For
hardcore,
hardcore,
like black licorice and sing along with Mitch. I don't want to go to that.
Of course you do.
At Hardcore Heaven, it's going to be Terry Funk against Cactus Jack, 911 against Mr. Hughes, Tommy Dreamer versus the Sandman, and Mikey Whipwreck versus Jason with the TV title on the line, and Snuka and Taz versus the Pitbulls. That's your lineup for Hardcore Heaven. And then we roll into a match between Mikey Whipwreck and Steve Richards on the Heatwave Tour for the TV title, and they're at the auction barn place, I think, here.
Yes.
The auction barn?
That's what it looked like.
It was a flea market.
That's oh my God. That's the it's the Somethingberg's Amish flea market. I can't remember what it is. But that's the one where I worked Mr. Hughes with my little aqua socks on.
Yes, it is.
Because I forgot my boot. Yeah, that's the place. I know it was Montgomeryville.
Yeah, that's it, Montgomeryville. It's also where we had the Tommy Cairo Sandman match that was shot funny. But anyway,
and did you see that picture I posted that Mick Foley put from his Twitter about
with him with Terry Funk?
Yeah, taking Terry Funk to get barbecue or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see Tommy Cairo commented on it?
I did not.
It just said F, like the letter F, Foley, POS, in big letters, like capital letters. He said, "Fuck Foley, piece of shit." Like
Funk said that?
Tommy Cairo. I'm gonna have to call Tommy Cairo and see what the story is on that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you can probably get Tommy Cairo before you can get Terry Funk. Why don't you call him?
He blasted Mick Foley. I was like, good Lord.
What? How dare him? Oh, that's right. I'm Tommy Cairo. He's like looking around like, nobody knows who I am. My mail don't say Tommy Cairo.
Ice cream man Tommy Cairo don't give a fuck.
Ice cream man. Next.
What the fuck is going on? All right. This was a fine little match between these guys. Probably the only thing I didn't like, I don't know, it gets old when every opponent Mikey has is doing the gets a 2 count, pulls him up, gets a 2 count, pulls him up. You know, it's like at some point, is anybody going to learn here that you should just pin this kid? Because inevitably you're going to get fucked or he's going to win.
Well, no, not that. That's only because don't forget, Nate, that they ran every like 4 weeks or 6 weeks, so they didn't get used to it.
True. I guess when you think about it from we're watching it on TV.
Yeah, week to week. So
Yeah.
think about if you don't see it week after week, and then it just happens, and then you just when you go home and you're with your buddies and you're like, God damn, they beat that fucking Mikey guy again like a drum.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many people are going to go like, well, it's the 5th time in a week? You know what I mean? 5th time in a you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that to me I thought was perfect. I mean, it's the way you start something, because you always got to start something from nothing.
Right.
That's how you got to build it.
Did you notice there was a "Run Mikey Run" chant during the match? I thought that was fun.
Well, there was always a "Run Mikey Run."
I didn't hear that that was the first time I'd heard it audibly. At least if I wasn't paying attention before, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there was always a "Run Mikey Run," but I think once the beating started, I think the "Run Mikey Run" became more, or actually, well, maybe it's the network.
That one guy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Maybe it was the network, because the network decided to add it, sweeten the show, because, maybe that's what, maybe they did it,
Aaron, what did you think of this match overall?
I thought it was pretty good, and Mikey took a good bump to he took a hell of a bump to the floor.
Mikey's good, man. I don't know if people even give Mikey enough credit for like how good, like not how good he is now, because he's not good now. How good he was then, because that dude, he took fucking beatings.
He's paying for those bumps now, because he's had multiple surgeries, neck and leg and hip and all kind of shit. I mean, he's definitely paying for it now, but you're right. Back then, he was a bump machine, and he made everybody look great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he made everybody look great at his expense, and like he did. I'll never criticize Mikey for anything he ever did, because I totally respect Mikey, and I like Mikey, and we're friends. But I looked at it. I took everything a whole lot different. Like there was just, I mean, take aside Sabu. That Sabu match, that was 100% stuff that I did not want to do, because I was afraid that I would get hurt, because how Sabu is.
Well, like I said, when we watched the match, I could tell watching the match that you were apprehensive.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. I don't want to.
It's like I am getting pretty much forced in doing all this bullshit.
Yeah, but Mikey, he just didn't really give a shit, and he did all that shit, and God bless him, man. I hope he's doing good. You said he's not in good shape.
No, I do follow him on Twitter, and I know he's had to have at least 2 to 3 surgeries that I know of, that I've seen him report.
What,
on.
for his neck?
For his neck and back, yeah.
Oh, you think?
He's a big guy now too, so that can't be good for him.
Well, why don't he fucking send 911 to fucking Bill? What? Yeah. Why can't you do that? Why can't you do that? Did they do that as angles? Like back in the days, like the heel would like send the babyface to Bill for the
for my traction, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, I would do that shit.
It's called liability, goddammit.
What the fuck? You hurt me. You put me out of work. You made it so I can't make any money.
Hard times. You put hard times on my family.
Put hard times on Mikey Whipwreck's family.
Oh, that's hard times. I mean, all those Poughkeepsie shows I'm going to miss. I mean, the ones that are like 40 minutes from my house. Oh, man.
I had to skip Heroes of Hambone because of this.
Jeez, always.
Well, to end the match, essentially Jason comes in and beats up Mikey Whipwreck, because he's going to be facing Mikey at Hardcore Heaven. And then we get a Jason promo, and he starts the promo out by saying, "Women and men want to see him strip."
His rock hard body.
Yes, they went to see his rock hard body.
I got no notes on this, dude. So you guys can just move it on.
Like he's wet for no reason. It's like, why are you wet?
Why is he wet?
I don't know.
It's like a question you ask your pet. Why are you wet?
Fucking
Well,
gross.
They re-show all the footage from last week with Snuka and Taz bonding or whatever, and he is discussing the fact that the team of Taz and Jimmy Snuka are going to face the Pitbulls at Hardcore Heaven. And that's the only notes I have, unless, Aaron, you have anything else.
Nope. I just don't know why he was wet. And
He said nope.
And it was creepy.
I mean, there's only one shower back there, and the water only runs for like 8 minutes. So maybe he got in.
Who was he with?
There's nobody. You can't get in there with anybody. It's a one-person shower.
Then the
What
next
other
match.
times Marty Funk has to ask Dory that? Why are you wet? Like,
Oh, it's because he sweats. No, Dory said it's because I sweat while I sleep. and then Marty says, "Well, you're asleep 23 hours a day." Well, then I'm sweating
Like a cat.
Like, I sweat when I do everything. I got to take my shirt off when I eat the spaghetti.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take 8 minutes to get this shirt off. Do you realize how hard it is for me to get this over my collarbone?
And the lemon head.
Yeah, my lemon head?
It's like John McCain. He can't lift his arms all the way up.
And yet you can still book him. That's the best thing. Like I think we ought to run a show, me versus Dory Funk, just so I could lose to him.
So,
Go. Okay.
So here's a question: Who's
Name of the show? Name of the show.
What?
Ham bones and headlocks. Well, that would be the show that Dory and Chad would main event.
I'll take it.
Ham bones and headlocks.
That's about right.
So who's a crustier, out of place old man? Is it Terry or is it Dory Funk in ECW '94, or is it Mr. Wrestling 2 in Mid South in like '84, '85? I guess '83, '84.
I don't know, Aaron. You want to take a little bit of time and think about this before you chime in?
No, it's Dory Funk. He's crusty in ECW.
Well, you're only saying that because you're thinking that like he's like a piece of pizza you get at the mall and they put it back in the oven to reheat it.
Sabaro.
Now it's all leathery and bumpy.
Yeah. He just put it back in the oven it's been sitting in that little window for 4 hours and
in the little triangle cardboard thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. I don't know. Maybe Junkyard Dog?
Oh, Junkyard Dog in WCW, yeah, in 91 or whatever, 92. The next match on this show is the Pitbulls versus Phi Delta Slam, whose names are apparently Bluto and D-Day.
Well, that's what their names are. That's what you name guys like that are guys that are fucking from a fraternity in Florida and don't get much work.
Didn't you mention on the previous show you got them in?
No, I had mentioned. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say that I did because I did mention them to Paul when we did Florida back when remember back in the Malenko days when they worked the Florida Loop. Yeah, I mentioned them. And how much you want to bet they flew themselves in?
Just to get on the show.
Oh, how much you want to bet? And I don't even have to fact check this. I can tell you that they flew themselves in.
And I mean, I guess when you think about it, you're going to get much more exposure if you're an indie wrestler in 1994 with the magazines and everything. You're going to get much better exposure wrestling in Philadelphia than you are wrestling in Miami, right? Or wherever in Florida.
Oh,
just because all the press is there.
Who are you wrestling for in Miami?
Right.
Who's the fucking company? Give me one name of a halfway decent company that's running in Miami.
I'm sure there were probably 7 Florida Championship Wrestlings in Florida in '94, but none of them are the Florida Championship Wrestling you'd want to be wrestling for.
I mean, Dave Sierra, I'm sure, is just stealing money from the fucking National Guard armories left and right. Give me a few $100. I'll put a show on this bitch. You know, he was probably doing that 5 nights a week. So, yeah, he's making $1,000 a week. So, yeah, what the fuck?
Well, this match wasn't terrible. It was a little long, but at least it was a match and not a recap from something from last week or the week before. And I thought this was a better outing for Phi Delta Slam than we saw when they wrestled the Public Enemy. That's for sure.
I like them guys, man. I really did.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I actually have in my notes that last time I kind of feel bad for last time shitting on him because watching this match, I realized maybe it wasn't them, maybe it was their opponents. Because
yeah, you can say that, but that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
They would have had to have made the best out of what they were given,
right.
And it wasn't that great, and it was kind of hard to like. I mean, was Dino Sendoff one of the guys, or was it just two local guys down there?
I don't even remember.
Yeah, you don't have to know the exact names. I'm just saying. But if it was two local guys down there, it could have been because they were bad,
mm-hmm.
and it affected them. But yeah, I liked them. I thought they were great, and I thought they would have fit right in because they were locker room like regular people. They didn't come in with no egos.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't come in with any, they didn't come in at all. Actually,
well, and that's the thing too. Like. You think about, okay, they've got the college fraternity gimmick, but as ECW moves on and gets quote unquote more hardcore and all that, you could have easily evolved that into a shitty heel gimmick.
Because
heel gimmick.
You also had to start building tag teams for Public Enemy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're already has the Gangsters debuted yet? No, right?
No.
All right, so what's our tag team?
Yeah, there's no Gangsters yet. There's no Eliminators. We've got the Pitbulls, Public Enemy,
Rebel and who?
Rebel and you.
Oh, me and Rebel. Okay,
and then apparently we've got Taz and Jimmy Snuka. Take that
kind of. All right,
and that's about it. Oh, Bad Breed. We got Bad Breed.
Oof. I mean, I don't even want to say as a start. Yeah, that's a we don't really give a shit about that. I mean, let's be honest. Paul came from the Eddie Gilbert mentality of booking like they booked it in Memphis and Continental, where tag team wrestling it wasn't that big of a deal,
right? Which is probably where Vince got that too.
Well, because. And at the end of the day, it was always because you had to pay 5 guys.
Mm-hmm.
You had to pay 5 guys if you have a tag team match. So that's why they would have sometimes up here where I live, they would have the same guys wrestle twice on the show.
Right.
They would have their match, and they would have like a 6-man at the end or a battle royal.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You look at because the Crockett territory was a tag team territory, and you look at some of those old cards, and it's like you say, you have like a tag team match, then 2 of the tag team guys are in a singles match, then there's a 6-man, then there's a battle royal with all the tag teams in it. Yeah. It's just all the tag teams, but they're just mixed up.
It's like a 7-match show with 10 dudes on the show. It's like,
well, that's the way they made money. I mean, but. How long? Look how long it took for people to figure that out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It took what 30 years
essentially
for people to figure out that they're just recycling the same people. like on the show, we already seen Denny Royal. He has the worst teeth ever, and I can't believe he was the world's junior champ. Who'd he beat? Where's the footage of it?
And that belt is hideous. That is one of the worst looking wrestling titles ever. That's the one that has like the crown coming up over the leather, isn't it? Or am I thinking of the wrong belt?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hideous. And he was hideous. It was just all of it was hideous.
It would stick through your luggage. you couldn't zip the bag because of one of the little things are sticking out of it. But he's like,
your bag's cramping it.
But I'm Denny Brown. I defend this title once every 6 months or whatever Jim Crockett thinks that it needs to be on TV. That's the schedule.
Usually against Mike Jackson.
Once a year at Starrcade, I fight Mike Jackson.
Yeah.
No, dude. He don't get Mike Jackson. He gets Mike Rossi or Ron Rossi.
Ron Rossi, yeah.
Yeah, he gets Ron Rossi because Mike Jackson goes, oh, no, I'm not even.
You get one of the Thunderfoots. That's what you get.
Oh well, you can never go wrong with one of them Thunderfoots because they got hoods on. Do you know how many times I've lost in one night on a wrestling show? Take a guess.
I'm gonna go conservative and say 4.
Oh no, it was 3.
Okay.
I wrestled under 3 different gimmicks on one night on a wrestling show and gotten beaten all 3 times. I was a Russian assassin. I was me, and then I don't even know what the fucking other gimmick I was. It was some guy's creation that was down there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was like a Walking Dead thing, whatever. and I'm just like, dude, I just worked 3 times. I just got beat 3 times in one night. I really should rethink this pro wrestling business.
Beat that, Barry Horowitz.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I can't figure out when people are in pro wrestling and they lose all the time and they don't go home and their parents don't say, you should rethink this. You lose all the time. Like, maybe you should get into a different business. Like, so I lose all the time.
Well, after the match here, we get a Jason promo, and the only reason I wrote any notes about it, he's talking about the fact that he's going to beat Mikey at Hardcore Heaven for the TV title, and instead of using the word waist, he says, I'm going to have that belt around my midriff.
Is midriff?
Yes, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, I mean, I use that all the time. What? That's not a universal word. You don't use the word midriff like every day.
Sure don't.
Oh, I mean, even Miss Jess, she knows that she knows how I adore my midriff.
How do you like my midriff?
Yeah, I just looked in the window at her while she's looking out. Yeah, she loves my midriff. She's actually gonna is Paint Your Life one of our sponsors? I think she's gonna get a painting of my midriff from paintyourlife.com and use the code JCE to get percentage off.
Up next, more Jason, as we have a Jason training session where he has his 4 horsemen of professional wrestling in the ring here. Chad Austin, the Rockin' Rebel, and the Pitbulls. And Keith Shearer is the victim of this workout, I guess. Essentially, it's just the heels beat up Keith, and then Jason takes advantage.
They did the J.J. Dillon thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
What's the J.J. Dillon thing?
Where JJ was supposed to be training or whatever, getting ready for War Games, and the Horsemen were in there, and they beat up the guy and helped JJ put all their individual moves on him. You don't remember that?
Oh, like just to train him?
Yeah. And afterwards, he was like, "Oh, I'm the tough guy," because they beat the jobber, but it was really just like Arn, and Barry and Rick beating up the jobber.
No, how about this? No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Barry. I don't think it was Ole. I think Ole was out of it by then. But yeah, I think it was.
Like Ole's my barometer. Once you don't see Ole anymore, it's probably when you don't see me watching wrestling anymore. and it's not because of Ole, specifically. It's just because of just circumstance. Like the business just. Oh, come on, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a funny motherfucker.
Continental. Well, I still had Continental.
But yeah, Ole's a funny mother. People say he's a grump and he's this and that and he is, but he's a funny motherfucker. I think Ole's funny.
I think Ole's great, dude. I mean, I would have Ole book my life. I would have him come here and I go, I'm going to give you my books and I'm going to show you this is how much money I make. I want you to, Yeah, this motherfucker can make me some money. But the only problem is I would have to drive to Augusta to get it or Macon.
Ole Anderson should be given credit just because who the hell else was going to get something good out of Thunderbolt Patterson? Jesus.
Well, see, no, you're kind of mistaken.
Okay.
Because what?
I'm just not a fan of Thunderbolt. I was just dissing for the sake
I'm not
of it.
saying I'm a fan either. But what's her name? That fucking girl that ran opposite of Ole? Leah? Oh, you got to know who this is because I know who it is. It's she's famous. She's famous.
Mm.
She has a hole down in that area. Leah, by Via.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she tried to like kibosh all that shit. That was a big deal.
I don't think I've ever heard that, to be honest with you.
Are we talking about what year are we talking about? 84, 83,
82, 83.
All right. Well, 82 is when Leah took over like that company.
See, I didn't even know that.
And then you started seeing all the changes.
Mm-hmm.
Ole, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a guy that I'll never hate on Ole. I don't fucking know because I thought the wrestling business was so fucked up in 1990
that's
when he
the thing.
booked her anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you can only do better. It's at a certain point. It's like, Jesus Christ, what are you handing me? I can only do better with this.
Yeah, I totally agree, Aaron, because I totally think like this shit's so bad that that's all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And Ole's involved in one of my favorite Jim Cornette stories ever.
Oh,
when they were running that little Georgia promotion that they were in or whatever, and Ole walked in the studio and said, "All right, guys, stop it." And they were like, "Stop what?" And he's like, "All of it. Stop all of this."
Why? Like, stop having the show?
Yeah. He was like,
what he was saying was everything they were doing was the shits. Just stop it all. We're just going to tear it all down and build it back up again.
Well, that was actually one of my favorite times of Georgia. I mean, did you guys get it?
No, we didn't get it here. I have it now, but
that was like, oh my God. That was like I'm trying to think. I think I may have gotten Georgia. Well, no, I saw Georgia in like 82.
Mm-hmm.
Because my parents would go over to their to my mom's siblings, and they would get drunk, and then they had cable, and I could watch TBS. And then I was like, "Well, how come we don't have cable?" And then it took years for me to get cable. Oh my God, man! I didn't get cable until Crockett. You know?
Yeah, well, and by the time I started like really, really watching wrestling as like a 6 or 7 year old, it was already Crockett for me. Like Georgia wasn't that if you turned on TBS, it was already World Championship, like that, the Crockett World Championship Wrestling.
Oh, dude,
for me that probably wasn't until 85-ish.
I sucked that shit in, man. I saw that shit. I saw Brody. I saw Tommy Rich. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And everything went like it was 2 minutes. 2:30. It was 2:30. It was 2:30. Everything is 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Get him out there, get him on, get him out, get him over, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how it was. And I was just like, oh shit. And I didn't even like the fucking people that I was visiting.
He just wanted to use their cable.
Fuck yeah. Take me to that bullshit hick town in fucking Tennessee again. That guy fucking Georgia Championship Wrestling with Gordon Soley and Killer Carl Cox. And who the fuck is this guy? It was, what's his name? Jesus Christ, the guy that played the fake Dusty Rhodes guy.
Dream Machine?
Troy Graham, right?
Yeah. He played Dirty Rhodes.
Yeah, Dirty Rhodes.
Yeah, well, he didn't play Madison Square Garden.
To end this ECW show, We get a passionate promo from Paulie dangerously discussing that we're going to see Sabu versus Too Cold Scorpio at Hardcore Heaven, which could never be a bad thing. And then he discusses 911 versus Mrs. Hughes, Mr. Hughes, Mrs. Hughes.
Oh, good Lord.
Get in here, big cat. And he alludes to, of course, Angel's a whore, and that's Paulie's promo, and that's the show. Overall,
imagine what Mrs. Hughes looks like.
Oh, Christ.
She's probably bigger than Hughes.
Mrs. Hughes, where my scrambled eggs?
You don't make me breakfast, you're going to need an undertaker.
That's right.
Mrs. Hughes probably looks like Lawrence Taylor.
And he's got his glasses on.
She's dressed exactly the same.
And he's all sweating in that stupid shirt again. Like, he never changed it.
Mrs. Hughes dresses exactly like Mr. Hughes.
You think so?
Yeah, she's just bigger.
She's just bigger?
Yeah.
Like Will Smith movie bigger?
Like that fucking Norbit. Chicken Norbit.
On that note, gentlemen, what did you think overall of this episode of ECW?
Getting there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to this Hardcore Heaven show, actually.
Which is on the network, so.
Yes, it is. We will be reviewing it in a couple of weeks. So we're going to put a wrap on this week's edition of Reliving the Extreme. Aaron, any parting words for our listeners?
Yep, just thanks for listening, and that's that.
Mr. Austin?
Hey, follow us on all the fucking platforms, man. Just stick with us. We're getting better every week.
Yes, indeed. I want to thank everybody for joining us this week. Have a great week, everybody, and we will see you next week as we continue reliving the extreme. Reliving the Extreme is a production of Maxson Media, all rights reserved.